YouTube, Ronan Kazi. Maybe I figured this part out. Let's hope. Want to apologize for yesterday's video. Somehow I didn't turn the video audio down, so I was talking over it. It was probably hard to hear, but today, not that problem. Today we're doing ESO, we're doing builds. The first thing I'm doing is I'm taking you to the quest giver that lets you choose any two other skill trees from any different other spec. You have to keep one of your original skill trees, so I'm going to pick a couple here. On your other characters on your account that you've leveled up some of these other skills, that's what level they are. Once a skill reaches level 50, you can respec to a new one. So here I picked two skills. I picked the first skill and the second skill. It's not important what I picked. I had a character where I had this option, so I went to that, went to the quest giver so I could do that and show you how to change your existing skill lines. So the thing you got to do usually is get your character to level 50, and then you can go from there. That's what I'd say. I try to have at least one of my skills at level 50. You don't have to. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So we got this skills. I'm adding skills to my bar. So there's different skills that you can get. I'm just taking the basic skills and adding to the skill bar. There's 5 on each. Each weapon can have 5 skills. You have 2 weapons they can swap. So let's say you had a sword and board for one, and then you had like a great sword for your other. Now I'm showing you the skills you can pick. So once you hit level 50, you start adding points. The more of these points you get, the more of the points you can put into these various trees. There's 3 trees. This is kind of a generic tree. It has some things that will give you more experience, 15% more experience as you're leveling these skills up. It'll give you a faster mount speed. So what I'm doing is I'm choosing the skills to go up to the higher tree. All kinds of strategies doing this. If you're a crafter, there's skills you can pick for crafting. If you're a gatherer, there's skills you can pick for gathering. You can really tailor your build to what you want. And let's say you have a couple alts. You could have one as a crafts person and one as a gatherer. This red area is kind of like general gameplay. So if you're into blocking, this is where you can get some speed things in general, where you can improve the speed of your character. So some of these skills, they're only active if you can put them in those top spots. So you can have 4 skills in each one. So again, it's not just like you're just jamming through skills. There's some thought to all this stuff. So some of the skills you're using there, they don't need to go into that spot to be activated. So I'm doing the red, and then I will eventually go to the blue. And the blue is where you can kind of predict, like some of the things I always pick, like if I go to block something, it creates a damage shield. Or if I take damage, I do damage to everyone around me. So the idea is if I'm got a little bit of a tanky build, then if I go into low level mobs, just general mobs, not like lieutenants or something, they can just kill themselves by hitting me. Kind of like a Thorns type of build. And one of the skills on this build is there's a spear that I do damage and then I get health back. So this is to show you, I'm still in the red section. I got to do the blue next. But ESO has a ton of flexibility and ways you can try. A lot of these things you can reset for relatively cheap. Now I'm in the blue, and this is where, I might be raising those up to 50 because they're pretty decent, and I'll put them up in the top eventually. So that's one of the things I like about MMO games, is that I can beat it a different way. Or maybe I have a, what's the greatest build? The greatest build is the most damage dealing tank, or the most damage dealing healer, or the unkillable damage dealer, or some variation on that theme, and you're trying to get that. So you might have it, you might develop the character in the way that you want to do that. Let's say you are in groups and you want to be mainly heals. You can spec yourself so you're mainly healing, so you're keeping your squad up. There's a whole bunch of things to do. The other thing that I'm going to do when I'm done showing you this, I'm going to eventually ask you to subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and buy a cup of coffee. Thanks to the one person that's buying me a cup of coffee. Appreciate you. The other thing I'm going to show you in ESO, you can get a companion. And honestly, once you get a companion, it's all over. The game becomes incredibly easy. So I'm going to go out, and I was going to go out to an area where you could become a werewolf, but instead I'm like going to go where I can get this companion. That's where I'm asking you for a cup of coffee. Thank you, YouTube. Liking, subscribing, and sharing, and all that good stuff. What else am I going to do while I'm heading over to that? So now I got to run out to that area, and then I'll start the quest. When we get there, I'll start talking about that quest. I'm probably going to do another review of my Lenovo Legion. I did a review, so it's like 2 or 3 years old. So I've had it for a while, and I can tell you just the shortcut is that thing's fantastic. What I'm going to try to do is put Linux on it too. And it has memory card slots, so that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to install Linux on a memory card slot, and then I'm going to try to boot it off that memory card slot. So so that's what I'm going to try to do here next, my next project, and give you another good review on that. Right now, when I'm looking at it, right, I had a pretty good PC that has crapped out. So that's my main Windows PC. My G14 has Windows on it, but I don't think it's as powerful as the Lenovo Legion Go. So that's like my best Windows PC, but I'm running on Linux on everything else. I want to keep Windows on one thing. I don't want to lose some of the tools that Lenovo has. There's some pretty neat tools, and I'll show you those that you can run, that you can manipulate the system with. So I probably will always keep that, mainly running Windows. So you're going to look up where to get Mira. Then you're going to go to that place. She has a build that I normally use on some of my characters. So I think she has a pretty strong build. And so her brother's lost, and we're going to go into this dungeon and find her. And then she'll join me because it was so fun being with me. She's really impressed with my, oh, I killed that joke. Impressed with my web skills. Okay, sorry, YouTube. So what's nice about ESO, you get a mount. You get this flexibility of characters. You get housing. Even if you don't buy a house, you get like free housing. You get a room. And what's great about the room is you can buy like wardrobes. You can buy improved slots. You can buy companions that will carry your bank around with you. You can buy companions that are stores. Once I would buy the game, and if you can get the game for free, but like every once in a while, I'll either buy some of their points or I'll subscribe for a little bit, so they dump some points in there and then I'll spend those. Right now I'm thinking about getting a different house. I bought a house. There's why I play this a lot. So I have a house. It's pretty cool. To me, it's very Spartan. Maybe one time I'll show you over there. But this game has everything. Housing. Like WoW might be getting housing now, like 20 years later, bro. So housing, you get mounts. What game was I in today? I was in Guild Wars. Been playing Guild Wars a lot now because they have that new expansion, and going back and opening up some stuff with some other expansions. So the other great thing about ESO is, like I bought a bow and I think a sword for this person, but I had leveled them up with a resto, with a healing staff and dual daggers. And the more you use something, the higher it gets and the higher level it gets. So it's pretty easy to level gear up and level different armor types and all those different things. The crafting's great if you like crafting. If you want to buy stuff for your house, if you want to make furnishings for your house, there's a guild marketplace. So there's no like marketplace, but guilds can have their own stores where you can go and buy stuff off their store. So there's like a player generated economy. So it's just a fantastic game, still going strong. And in light of what we're talking about with New World yesterday, with the crappy volume, it's hands down, this is a great game. This character's not the strongest right now because those two things, you have to think about this. The developers spent a dump truck load of time getting all those skills together, make them great, and the synergy, and now they just allow us to break them. They are allowing you to kind of gimp yourself, but if you have a companion, you're never going to gimp yourself. So it's a good, it's a good game where, you know, at this point in games, you want to just be able to see all the content. There was a time that I never got to end of Lich King because I just never was in a guild that was strong enough to go through all the content. Later on, when they, before they changed it, like you could go back into those levels with a high level and you just, you know, I'd go in these 40-man raids with one person and just, you know, destroy everything in a while. And they change it now. And I don't know if you can still do this, but they'll equalize it to your level, so you can't really do that. Maybe you can. But the point I'm trying to get at is most of these games, I have more penchant to play a game that I'm going to be able to see all the content. And like I said, a game like Final Fantasy XIV, where they require you to play all these dungeons as part of your leveling, they've made it where you can have a party if you can't find a party. I never was really successful with that. Maybe my characters were GIMP. But you can't, in Final Fantasy, you can take a party through there. So I want to have a game where I can see all the content, where I'm not gated out because, you know, this, that, or whatever. So ESO, you get to play Star Wars. When I looked at Star Wars, here's the thing. Honestly, with Star Wars, the stories are great. If you like Star Wars, what are you doing not playing that game? There's 8 classes. The free-to-play version will only let you get 4 classes. You're not going to really worry about crafting. You might gather some stuff. But really what you're going to do is just play the game to go through the stories. And that's it. They won't let you dual spec unless you're a subscriber. And you may subscribe for a month or whatever. You know, it's $15 to do that. And they give you some points back that you can spend on stuff. But really, it's a good game for the stories. But then after that, I don't know if I would be a subscriber. I found that the higher end, it's harder to get gear. They have some, again, it's a game that's going to force you into raids and those kind of things. And some of those things are okay. Star Wars doesn't really have, trying to think on my classes. The healing's okay, but it's not like in Final Fantasy or WoW, you've got someone that's just a kick-ass healer, like a white mage or a priest or a shaman or whatever. So I'm just burning through here. This was like the first companion you could get, so it's the highest level companion I have on my account. And so what's great is she's like level 19 or level 19. So when I give her with a brand new character, she's level 19. So I really have a strong companion going into the game. So ESO is another good game to put in your rotation. I'm looking for some other games to put in the rotation. They don't have to all be MMOs. I've been playing Hades 2. I wanted to show you some of that gameplay. I'm kind of stuck in that, and I think I just have to grind and get stronger and stronger, and that's what's going to happen. But I'm a little selfish, and then I want to be done with that, and I want to go to then see new content, whatever. Playing Guild Wars is fun. My problem with Guild Wars is I never know what class. I've made like 5 Necromancers. It's a great class. Then as you get with all the expansions, they get different master classes. So that game's pretty fun. And I'm going back in the story, and the story's good. Just universe, I don't know. I'm more comfortable with like the Division 2, Star Wars, ESO from like Elder Scrolls. Like, so, you know, I have some cat characters and whatever. So it's kind of like regular ESO. So that's pretty much it, YouTube. I'm getting to the final spot to save Mary's brother. Appreciate everyone that's been on the channel. I'm going to do a review on my Lenovo Legion Go. It's fantastic. I like it better than the other ones, and I'll kind of tell you why. I might also do a review on my Lenovo Tab, small 7-inch tablet, which is great. And I was looking at some games I could play, like Genshin or something, on the tablet. But again, this is Ronan Kazi. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate everyone that's watching. Talk to you soon, YouTube. Bye.